Hey guys, it's Rudy coming at you live from Palm Beach in Florida. It is Friday. It is August the 29th. It's the end of August. Probably going to see you only again in September. What I want to do today is rehash or revisit a video that I made early in August. This was actually on August the 6th. And I talked about some of my small cap, high risk, high volatile mining positions. The highlighted arrows here on the world map shows you the diversification across the geographies and the different uh, precious and industrial metals, right? So we have gold, silver, we have copper, we have uranium, a couple of different metals, many different jurisdictions. Some of these companies you will be familiar with anyway. Some of them will be new to you. Many of them were introduced to me at the Rick Roll Symposium. Rick Rule has a symposium every year. The last one was in Boca early in July, and some of them were introduced to me at that point in time. What I want to do, though, is I want to revisit this because at the um, end of the Rick Rule Symposium, I actually opened positions in some of these small cap equities. And as I said, most of them are high risk, high volatile equities. So you have to be extraordinarily careful when you park some money into this. And that's why you want to watch videos like this one. Anyway, on August the 6th, so about a month after the symposium, I made a video called Strike Gold or Strike Out 10 Junior Miners Ready to Rock Your Portfolio. You can find it in the library. It was viewed about 3,000 times or so. I guess not everybody is interested in junior miners, but we have a score down here at the bottom, 155 likes and one dislike, which is why I end up with 99.4. So the person who disliked it is probably not going to be watching this particular video because this one is a recap of that one. Anyway, if you like it, then please be so kind as to just hit the thumbs up button because it doesn't cost you anything and it helps to keep me motivated to make some more. There were many, many comments on that particular video. Peter said, Aya, gold and silver is one of my largest positions. Vince said, thanks, Rudy. I stepped into Sierra Madre after and did some research. You must always do your own research and due diligence after I had mentioned it the previous time. Lane introduced me to Banyan Gold. Mark said, I hope you're right about Iris, Aya, and Heliostar because he owns them. Daryl, sharp-eyed, eagle-eyed Daryl said, Talisker should be cash positive. And JK, also eagle-eyed, said Talisker is on your first slide, but it's not in your list. The reason for that is because I made a top 10. And as any marketing genius would know, you always do a top 10. That's why we have the 10 commandments, the 10 best dressed, etc. So I chose 10 of my small cap stocks, even though I have a couple more, and Talisker is one of them. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to very briefly recap these 10 stocks just to show you what happened in the past month. And then I will, for the sake of the people who said, wait a minute, Talisker was on your world map, but not in your video, I will touch briefly on Talisker as well and tell you where that one is going or where it has gone and how I came about knowing and learning about Talisker to begin with. So what I did at the previous, during the previous video is I made a little table and said, let's assume you invest $1,000 each in 10 fictitious companies. And the reason why I chose $1,000 is just because it makes it easy math for me, right? So whatever you have as cash available investment, whether it's $100 in each of 10 different companies or $1,000 or $1,000,000 doesn't make any difference because here we are just doing math. So I said, here are 10 fictitious companies. You've invested $1,000 in each of them. The most you can lose is $1,000 on any single investment. And I assumed that nine of them pretty much just bombed out, right? So I said three of them possibly went bust, they went bankrupt, and this happens with small cap mining companies anyway. A few of them went nowhere. So in other words, three of them went bust, six of them went nowhere, but one of them gave you a 20x or a 20 bagger and it right sized your entire portfolio. Now, of course, if you get 120x, that's nice. But if you were to get a 20x and maybe another couple of them give you a 10x and a 15x or 5x or whatever, and you add those all up, that changes the picture quite dramatically. But even just with one big winner, you can turn $10,000 into $25,000 over a 5-year period. And I think if you're going to enter into these positions at all, you should be willing to hold it for at least 3 to 5 years. So from that point of view, my entire time frame as it relates to this particular video is redundant because I'm only talking about 1 month. Let's quickly go through them very briefly. So Amerigo Resources on August the 6th, which is the date I made the video, was trading at $1.55. And by the way, I'm using the United States dollar as a common currency for almost all these slides, except for the very last one, which is the bonus round, right? So you could have opened a position in Amerigo Resources at $1.55. Today it was trading at around 160 or so. And by the way, whatever it is that I introduced to you, you don't have to take my word for it, because if you look in the library, you'll see on August the 13th, I interviewed CEO Aurora Davidson. So you don't have to listen to Rudy. You can listen to Aurora and then decide whether you'd like to open a position in the company or not. This is a critical point, because what you should do as part of your due diligence is seek out information and make sure that you are as well informed as you possibly could be, including watching videos like an interview with the CEO, in order for you to just invest less than 1 hour before you invest your cash awaiting investments. Okay, let me go a little bit faster. Aris Mining, you could have bought for $7.99. Today it's trading at around $8.30 or thereabouts. Aya Gold, you could have bought for $9.17. Today it's trading at around $9.59 or thereabouts. Obviously, I took these slides earlier today, which is Friday, August the 29th. So the price is approximately what I'm showing you at the top of the screen. Emerald Resources was trading at around $2.30 on August the 6th. It's now trading at around $2.50. Helio Star was trading at around 95 US cents. Now it's trading at around $1.10. Nucor Gold, another one where you can watch an interview with the CEO, Luke Alexander. This is in the library as well. It's dated August the 19th, 2025. You could have bought into Nucor if you are willing to do a high risk investment into an Explorer for 43 cents. Right now it's trading at around 48 cents or thereabouts. Sierra Madre Gold and Silver, I've been in this one for over a year. There's an interview with CEO Alex Langer, which is very new, August the 18th. It was actually just before they announced their Q2 2025 results. A great interview to watch here with Alex. He's such a fun guy. He's just happy and smiling all the time. You could have bought this one for 58 cents. It's currently trading at around 61 cents or thereabouts. Uranium Energy is one that you could invested in. You could have invested in on August the 6th at $9.76. It's currently trading for almost a buck higher at $10.56. Vizsla Royalties is a royalty company. They earn royalties from financing that they provided to Vizsla Silver, the mining company. You could have bought that one for around $2.07, and now it's trading for just a few pennies higher than what it was trading on August the 6th. And Vizsla Silver Corporation, which is the last one of the 10, was trading at around $3.25, and today it's at around $3.60 or thereabouts, right? So those are the 10 that I kind of covered. There are a few CEO interviews that you can find in the library if you want to watch them. Each one of them will require you to invest just short of an hour to listen to the CEO instead of listening to me droning along and boring you to tears with my opinion as to whether you should add this to your watch list, maybe buy it, sell it, whatever it is that you do. Now, let's update that table and say, instead of saying it's 10 fictitious companies, I use the same 10 companies that I just covered in alphabetical order. So in no particular order other than just alphabetical order. And I'm still saying, just for the sake of simple math, if you invested $1,000, it doesn't matter how much you have to invest, because everybody has a different criteria and a different amount of cash available for investment, right? So it's easy math. If you have $10 or $100 or $10,000 or $1,000,000, you just add or take away zeros as you go. If you had invested, for example, $1,000 in Amerigo with a cost basis of 155, you would have had a positive return of $38.71 as of today, right? So you put in $1,000 today, it'd be trading at $1,038.71, and so on and so on and so on. Some of them they've done quite nicely. You can see Nucor Gold, for instance. If you had bought $1,000 worth of Nucor at 43 cents, it's trading at $116 positive, so 1,116. How about Heliostar? You put in $1,000 today, it's worth 1,157, and so on. There's a reason why I highlighted Aya in gold year, in red year, even though it has a positive return. I'm going to show you my actual cost basis and show you what happens, because these things go up and down, right? So this just happens to be all positive, all 10 of them for the month of August. Of course, in September, they could all be trading negatively, and then you don't have this $741 gain on your $10,000 investment. Anyway, This is just a matter of fact because I'm looking in the rear view mirror back to the beginning of August. If you had invested $10,000 today, that would be worth approximately $10,741. So a 7% gain for 1 month. Now, here's the bonus round, right? Because this is what I want to share with you. So the first one I highlighted in red. And the reason why I highlighted it in red is even though it would be positive if you had opened a position on August the 6th, for me, from a personal point of view, I actually opened my position in Aya originally on July the 15th. So I've owned Aya for approximately 6 weeks. However, my cost basis was $9.82 in US dollars. I actually own this one in Canada, but I'm using US dollars just as a common denominator because it makes it easy because I'm talking in the same currency all the time. So I bought it for $9.82 and it's currently trading at around $9.56. That means I'm down 26 cents per share. Now, once again, whether you bought 10 shares, 100 shares, 1,000 shares, or tens of thousands of shares like me, multiplied by negative 26 cents per share, that is your actual trading loss. So even though on the previous slide, I'm showing you that Aya over the last month has eked out a small gain, in my personal portfolio, Aya is actually sitting at a loss unless it recovers today, which it might well have because it was trending up earlier today when I took these slides. How about the next one? Uranium, though. Uranium energy is a different story. I also opened my position around about the same time. So on July the 14th, so I've been in this position as well for about 6 weeks, but my cost basis is only $6.86. Now today it's trading at around $10.60. So it's up almost $4 from where I bought it. And I only bought it 6 weeks ago. So currently, if you had invested $1,000 in uranium energy on August the 6th, you would have $1,522.99 as of today. How about Talisker? So this is the one that I skipped before because I was making a top 10, not a top 11. So now I'm including this one as the 11th one. And I'm saying if you bought Talisker when they were introduced to me by Adelaide Capital on Monday, June the 16th, I opened a position with a good till cancel GTC order, which filled at 35 cents. And after my order filled on June the 16th, so this one I've owned now for almost 2 months, is now trading at around 53 cents, right? So at $1,000, you would have a current gain of $1,514 in terms of where it's trading today compared to my cost basis, which was 35 cents. But how about this one, just as a trading suggestion, right? So earlier on, I said you got to hold these for at least 3 to 5 years if you want to score yourself a, 5, 10, 15, 20 bagger on your investment. So on February the 11th, 2022, I opened a position in Cameco. My cost base is $28.36. Call it $30, and now it's trading at around $110. Or to make it real easy math, let's call this $25, and now it's trading at $100. It's a 4x, right? So here's the basic gist of what I'm trying to share with you as a trading suggestion. If your cost basis, using my example here, is $28.36 and you invest $1,000 or you had invested $1,000, you would have purchased approximately 35 shares, right? $1,000 divided by $28.36 is about 35 whole shares. So you bought yourself 35 shares of Cameco and the current price is $107. So for the sake of a simple example, let's just say it's $100. You have 35 shares. So your position is worth $3,500. You got to be very cautious here not to just be greedy, right? So what I'm saying to you is in order to mitigate risk, what you can do is you can say, of the 35 shares that I purchased originally for $30, remember I put in $1,000 to buy 35 shares. I'm going to sell 9 of them. Why? Because 9 shares multiplied by $107.05 is almost $1,000. So I take all my money off the table. Now I have no risk. I have nothing to lose, but also have no gain, right? So how about you do this? You sell 18 of the 35 shares. And if you sold 18 of these 35 shares, you would still effectively have half of them, right? So 35 shares, you're selling half, 18. And what you're doing now is you're saying, I'm taking my $1,000 that I invested off the table, plus $1,000 as a gain. So I'm taking $2,000 off the table. And then the rest of the shares can just run and do whatever they do as the market goes up and down and does whatever it does. And I can just sit back and relax, take my 100% gain on my original investment cash it out. I can buy something else. I could do something different with it. Buy yourself a new house or a new car or whatever, depending on how much money you put into it. But now I have zero risk because everything I left on the table is the house's money, and I've taken my own cash and some gains off the table. That would be a very, very simple trading suggestion. And I've done this over and over and over again, sometimes with a large cap stock. Uh, Unfortunately for me, I even did it too soon, right? So I'll give you a practical example of that. Going back to 2012, I had Microsoft hit about $56 with my cost basis was about 26, $27, right? So I basically doubled my money. I sold it all. I just cashed out. I thought I was so smart cashing it all out when Microsoft was trading at $50 or thereabouts, right? To prevent myself from not crying about that one, I'll just share the story with you, but I'll leave you to look up Microsoft's current stock price for you for yourself and see where I would have been if I had stayed in the position for, in this example, 10 or 12 years or so instead of cashing out after just 3 or 4 years. But anyway, guys, that's kind of a wrap here. I just wanted to recap that video that I made before on August the 6th, see where those stocks are trading today. Of course, in September, it could be the complete opposite and they could all be negative. And that's why I'm saying your holding period might be 3 to 5 years. Put the money in that you're comfortable with investing, and also potentially comfortable losing because you will take some losses along the way. And hopefully, in the basket of 10, 11, 12 stocks, you're going to get winners like I have on Cameco or Uranium Energy or something like that. That's going to right size the whole portfolio for you, and then you'd be smiling all the way to the bank so that you can cash your fiat currency into your bank account, right? So on that happy note, this is Rudy signing off. If you like my content, then please hit the subscribe button and maybe the notification bell so you can get updated every time I make new content. And if you're the one guy who previously didn't like the video I made on August the 6th and you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate you watching as well. So, guys, I'll probably only see you again on the other side of the month. So it's the end of August, and maybe we can touch base again in September. In the meantime, post your comments. I read them all. Take care, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.